Hello, everyone. My apologies for starting a little bit later. Hello again, my name is Jody Buchholz, and I'm going to be your host for Retaining International Student Graduates for Permanent Opportunities. This workshop is being delivered in English. There is live French translation available by simply clicking on the globe icon with interpretation written below it. We will have time to answer your questions towards the end of the workshop as well. International students are not just a temporary presence. They really are a wellspring of talent and potential that can greatly enrich their adoptive homes. Our workshop will be co-facilitated by 3 dynamic subject matter experts who are going to explore the transformative potential of retaining these graduates and shifting the mindset from temporary to permanent opportunities. Our first presenter is Andrea Leitch-Blake, the Study and Succeed in New Brunswick Program Coordinator with the Department of Post-Secondary Education, Training and Labor. Study and Succeed in New Brunswick is a project co-funded by the Government of New Brunswick and the Atlantic Canadian Opportunities Agency, which aims to provide essential tools, resources, support, and connections to international post-secondary students who wish to remain in the province after graduation. Prior to that, she worked at the University of New Brunswick English language program in Fredericton, New Brunswick, as the Manager of Operations and Administration. She has worked in fields such as the ESOL for 25 years and has worked to develop English as an academic for academic purposes, or EAP, programming, and English for specific purposes, ESP field schools. She has delivered professional learning workshops both nationally and internationally. Andrea served in the role of treasurer for TESL New Brunswick and is currently serving as the secretary of TESL Canada Education Fund chair as TESL Canada. She's presently working towards her Master's of Education in Adult Education with a distinction in bilingual and multilingual education. Our second presenter is Colleen Brennan. As St. Lawrence College's Brockville's career advisor, Colleen supports international and domestic students with becoming career ready. She's lived in Brockville since 2018, having moved here from Vancouver, where she grew up in a culturally diverse part of Canada. Colleen joined St. Lawrence College in 2020 after working in post-secondary career advising and recruitment both in British Columbia and Ontario. She's also held the St. Lawrence College role as a recruitment officer and project coordinator for the Skills Advance Ontario Healthcare Initiative. Colleen's extensive travel, combined with her previous roles as an international recruiter for a private boarding school, have given her a strong understanding of the needs, dreams, and struggles of newcomers. Her resourceful, supportive approach has helped many students and job seekers launch into their careers, including her own 3 grown sons who tend to seek out her for input at the last hour, of course. In 2022, Colleen completed the National Career Development Practitioner Program as a certified career strategist and certified work-life strategist. Our third presenter is Ross McMillan, an educator, curator of ideas, and serves as the Director of Student Success and Services at St. Lawrence College. As an award-winning higher education administrator, Ross has dedicated his career to building and leading teams that care deeply about the lifelong student success inside, outside, and alongside the classroom. Please join me in welcoming our speakers, and we'll throw the speaker presentation ball over to you, Andrea, to kick us off.
All right, thank you very much, Jody. I'll just get my screen here sharing, and then we'll begin. All right. I think everything's good. You can see my slides.
Cannot see your slides yet.
No? Let me see what's going on. Double check. Let's try that.
There we go. You're in business.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, potentially, depending where you are. As Jody said, my name is Andrea Leitch-Blake, and I'm really pleased to join you this morning to speak with you about our new project here in New Brunswick, the Study and Succeed in New Brunswick program. My current role with this program is the coordinator as part of the International Student Integration and Retention Team at Immigration New Brunswick. This program is funded by both Post-Secondary Education, Training and Labor, Division of the Government of New Brunswick, and the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency. The Study and Succeed in New Brunswick program provides international students essential tools, resources, support, and connections needed to launch a successful career and a fulfilling life in New Brunswick. Participants are provided with individual and group opportunities to ensure they are equipped with both professional and personal advantages upon graduation for those with the intent of remaining in New Brunswick. Launched in January 2023, the Study and Succeed in New Brunswick program offers 3 cohorts per year, each lasting approximately 4 months in duration. This province-wide program is open to applications from all international students at publicly funded post-secondary institutions in New Brunswick and a select number of private career colleges. To be selected, students are required to be in good academic standing at their institution and demonstrate that they have contributed to both their academic and social communities. Participants must also be eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit, and the program is not available to Canadian citizens and permanent residents. A unique feature of the Study and Succeed program is that it is available to both English and French-speaking institutions and participants. All of the content related to the course is provided in both official languages. It is one of the few programs available with a focus on evenly supporting international students from all corners of the province, making programming available in both French and English, as well as an equal distribution of places within the program for participants from English and French institutions. The program launches with a mandatory 3-day in-person conference with a focus on many of the topics central to the program, including cultural adaptation, career and labor market information, networking, community engagement, immigration pathways, professional communication, and mentorship. All costs associated with the conference and the continued program are funded by the Government of New Brunswick and ACOA, including accommodations, meals, and transportation. Following the conference, participants will continue to build on these topics through a combination of online asynchronous coursework and virtual webinars. Students will receive ongoing support and communication throughout the program from members of the International Student Integration and Retention Team. The application process. An application period of approximately 1 month will open 2 months ahead of a program commencement. Through communication with colleagues around the province, such as campus international student advisors at the 23 eligible institutions, we ask them to share the application information with their potential student populations. When applying, students must meet the following conditions for consideration. They must have been attending for a minimum of 1 term of study and be able to provide proof. Be available to attend the mandatory in-person 3-day conference, commit to meeting 1 hour, either virtually or in person, every 2 weeks, and commit to volunteering for 1 hour per week. If they are able to answer yes to these 4 points, then they are able to move forward with the application process. The remaining application gathers information such as contact information, information regarding their institution and program of study. They need to write a letter of intent explaining why they are interested in this program and what they hope to gain from it, as well as provide any relevant work or volunteer experience they may have had in New Brunswick. So as I mentioned, this program launched in January 2023. For the first cohort, there were approximately 900 applicants from around the province. Our second cohort was in May, and we received 400 applications. And our current cohort that just began in September, we had 250 applications. Each application is vetted for information to be used in the selection process, as there are many more applicants than spaces, 100 places in each cohort. The first round of vetting includes identifying applicants who are studying either in the first half or the second half of their program of study, which institution they attend, the program of study, home country, their letter of intent, and also their work and volunteer experience. So on the slide here on the left-hand side, you'll see an example of a letter of intent that was included in somebody's application. The team, the international student team, then gathers to make the final selection. The final cohort will include 100 participants, with 50 from English-speaking institutions and 50 from French-speaking institutions. Representation from all institutions across the province is a requirement that we do. So if we have 3 from a small campus in northern New Brunswick, we make sure that at least one of those candidates are included. We also try to make sure there's a diverse range of programs of study, diversity amongst the participants themselves, such as their country of origin, their work experience, their age, all of this in the spirit of selecting a robust cohort of participants who have the shared goal of graduating and remaining in New Brunswick to find employment and personal fulfillment. Selected participants are notified via email and are required to read and agree to a code of conduct. This document informs participants of the program expectations, requirements, and begins the process of a shared purpose among the cohort. From this point, there is continued correspondence with the participants in preparation for the launching conference. The mandatory conference is held at the start of each cohort in a different location in the province. With the 3 cohorts we have had to date, we have had one held in Fredericton, Moncton, and Edmundston, and moving to St. John and the Miramichi into 2024. Transportation is provided for each participant to attend the conference. This is done through a lot of hard work behind the scenes, but typically we have hired motor coaches that go around to the 23 campuses and pick up students and bring them to the host city. But for some more remote areas of the province, we have had to make alternate arrangements with the kind support of the post-secondary institutions, and as well as sometimes the settlement agencies are able to lend a hand in making sure we get all the students to the host city. Once participants arrive on site, they are welcomed by the international student team. They receive all they need to begin their weekend, room keys, name tags, their agendas, and a welcome package with usually some nice New Brunswick goodies included. Again, once they are on site, there are no additional expenses to the participants. One of the aims of the conference is for the participants to experience a professional setting, a professional conference. They begin the weekend on Friday evening with an opening banquet. This includes an opening ceremony led by an elder from the host community, welcome addresses from local dignitaries, provincial ministers, or deputy ministers, dinner, of course, and followed by a keynote presentation. To date, our keynotes have been on the topics of mentorship, innovation, and determination. The Friday evening sets the tone for the remainder of the weekend, with participants really getting the feeling that they are welcomed and recognizing that New Brunswick values international students and wants to support them on their pathway. The evening is held in both official languages, either by the speakers themselves or through the use of simultaneous interpretation services. The next day is followed by presentations and workshops with facilitation led by professionals from the province. Facilitators have come from such organizations as the New Brunswick Multicultural Council, Working New Brunswick, a government division within post-secondary education, training, and labor, Collège Communautaire Nouveau-Brunswick, and private professional service providers. To maximize the opportunity and time, these sessions are typically divided by language stream. with participants receiving the same content, but in their language of study. If you take a look at the slides there, you'll see some of the topics or presentations that we have had. Intercultural communication for the classroom and professional context, creating inclusive environments, understanding the New Brunswick labor market and job search strategies, the do's and don'ts of building your curriculum vitae and cover letter, appearance, what to include, what not to include, adding your voice, and much more. Preparing for the interview process, community engagement, making the connections, networking, volunteering, presenting yourself, dressing for success, professional images for the New Brunswick labor market. While participants are separated by language streams throughout the day, we encourage all participants to begin to make connections and network with one another. Meals and break times are shared together in a common space. And on the Saturday evening, we offer social activities to engage the participants. It's a less structured format to break it down walls and release inhibitions. So we might have sharing music from around the world, photo opportunities, large group trivia, and other quieter activities for those who have had a long day. So they might just want to play Scrabble together or do a board game, puzzles. Jenga is always very popular. The final day of the conference is led by the International Integration and Retention team that I work with every day. And we focus on two key presentations. The first is immigration pathways, where participants learn about the different immigration streams that are available to them and the requirements within them. As well, there's a lengthy opportunity for questions and answers. And then the second presentation on the final morning of the conference is strategies to succeed as an international student in New Brunswick. This presentation kind of absorbs many of the topics of the weekend and provides an authentic view from the lens of an international student who has successfully navigated their way from school to employment to community to permanent resident. The weekend conference concludes with feedback sessions, next steps and expectations for their continued participation within the program. Lots and lots of photos, and then transportation back to their communities around the province. Following the conference, the participants continue to build upon the topics presented, as well as a few others that weren't included in the conference just because we're limited on time and we want to get as much as we can, but we have a few other topics such as settlement agent services and mental and social well-being that might be included with their online platform. So if you look at the presentation slide there, that is kind of a screenshot of what it looks like. So within each cohort, you'll see, for example, September Group A, September Group B, and then on the French-speaking institutions, the same. So they're divided into 4 groups within the online platform. So they're in classes essentially of 25 students. And you'll see that May is still up there as well, because even though their formal program may have ended, participants will have access to all of the resources and materials that are included on the online platform for the next year. So they'll be able to go in and access all their classroom content. So once you go into the online platform, you're able to get an idea of some different links. The platform we're using is Moodle to do this. Students go in, click links. There's all kinds of information there for them. So typically participants engage in 2-week-long learning modules, which include valuable resources and materials related to the topic. This may include links to websites, videos, and articles. And at the end of each module, participants are to submit a short assignment to demonstrate their learning or takeaways. So, for example, they may share a new cultural understanding, such as the importance of time in a New Brunswick context. Don't be late to meet your instructor, arrive early for a job interview, and compare this with their own cultural understanding of time. Or if we're focused on creating a CV, identify 2 items that are currently strong in your CV, and then after reviewing, studying the materials, what are 2 items now that you would change or edit based on your learning? In addition to the asynchronous work, we also offer live virtual presentations throughout the 4-month cohort. Approximately every 3 weeks, I would say that we have a guest speaker come in and provide a webinar or virtual presentation. Some of the topics have included mentorship, roles and responsibilities, entrepreneurship as an international student in New Brunswick. Additional immigration pathways, Q&As are offered almost bi-weekly, as those tend to have a lot of engagement, experiential learning, and cultural adaptation sessions. And again, participants are required to submit an assignment to follow up to demonstrate their learning and outcomes. So there on the slide here, you'll see 2 of our webinars that took place, and as well there's a sample of somebody's assignment that they submitted after reading the materials or watching the videos and things like that that were within their 2-week module. Throughout the entire 4 months program, there are 3 areas that are continuous. One of those is mentorship. Participants are paired with a mentor, and we encourage them to meet approximately 6 to 8 times throughout the program. The mentors are volunteers. We put a call out seeking mentors for this program, and we welcome mentors from all professional fields and experiences. Participants are then matched by a number of variables, professional domains and interests, area of study, location, and language stream. And we aim to find the ideal match, but we also recognize that students and their mentor will find much value in building a connection. Participants are to keep a running journal on the online platform where they can record points of learning and outcomes from each of their meetings, and also plan, map out or plan a direction for the next meeting. Another ongoing focus throughout the 4 months is the commitment to volunteer. And this is an opportunity for participants to build valuable community connections, discover transferable skills, understand cultural nuances while giving back to their community. Many students come into the program already engaged in volunteer service, while others quickly learn the rewards of embracing this opportunity. Participants are to keep an ongoing log or journal to represent what they have learned and how they can apply these skills. And then the final area that's continuous is we have a WhatsApp group where there are weekly updates. We use this primarily more on the personal side so that participants can find out about things that are happening within their communities on the weekends or in the evening. So they might learn about fairs or exhibitions or Canada Day celebrations, for example. We also use a few other means. You see these Immigration New Brunswick, Working NB. We use Cyber Impact as well to send them links to events that are happening around the province. So one here was a virtual job fair, and the other was a newcomer employment fair that was in person in the Moncton area. So at the end of the 4-month period, we host a virtual graduation to celebrate the participants' commitment to be part of this program. We recognize it's not easy to be a full-time student in a new environment, often working part-time, sometimes full-time jobs, perhaps having a family and still finding the time to invest in this program. So we've included in the graduation ceremony a message from the New Brunswick minister responsible for Immigration New Brunswick. We have prepared speeches from both the international student team as well as selected participants. Participants will also receive a certificate and a letter recognizing their participation in the program. So this slide here kind of is a quick, we invite them formally. There's a screenshot of our graduation. Minister Dunn with some remarks. If you see in the chat here on the far right, we asked the students, to put in a few words that they would like to share about their experience, and it's always pretty special to read those, and then a sample of the certificate that they'll receive. So as I said at the start of the presentation, we are currently just launched with our third cohort, and our first being in January. So we will be following the students for about a period of 1 year following the end of their program. So I recently did a 4-month check-in with our January participants. And this was to learn more about the current status in their current status in the province. Have you graduated? Have you applied for an immigration pathway? If so, which immigration pathway did you select? Have you found employment? So right now I'm still gathering data, and many of our participants from the January cohort have not graduated. So I'm hoping as I do these 4-month check-ins, I'll be able to have some numbers to reflect and support the efforts of this program, resulting in the successful journey of an international student wishing to remain in New Brunswick. But I do have some feedback that students have shared with us at the end of each cohort. So this is from a January 2023 participant. I won't read it word for word, but really positive feedback, and really reflected what our program is aiming to do. Another piece of feedback from the end of a course, all very positive, really hitting the ideas and showing that what we are providing to them is what they feel they are receiving and need to receive as an international student who is looking to remain in the province. And then the last slide that I have for you today is, and it's got a live link if you do receive a copy of it, is a little success story from one of our participants in the January cohort at the end of April. She graduated from her institution of study and has gone on to receive full-time employment, actually with the Government of New Brunswick in Service New Brunswick as a program officer. So it's great to see those success stories, and I hope to be able to have more to share in the future. And with that, I will say thank you for your attention, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have later in the program.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Now we will throw the presentation ball over to Colleen and Ross to lead us through retaining international student graduates for permanent opportunities from the St. Lawrence College perspective. Thanks so much, and I'll be kicking it off. And Andrea, that sounds, love those testimonials, and a conference sounds like a lot of fun. So great experience, and thanks for sharing that. So I'm going to be, Colleen and I will be splitting up the presentation. I have the first half, and I'll hand it over to my colleague Colleen. And I'll just be saying next slide. The focus for our presentation is really, once again, we working in student success and services, looking at how we support students through their entire life cycle, but also considering, we hope that they're successful in their studies, of course, but they also then, due to the positive impression that they've had in our campus communities, they actually choose to, start their careers and their next steps in their journey in Eastern Ontario, where we're located. Next. So not sure, given the national audience of this presentation, people's awareness of St. Lawrence College, you'll have the slide deck, and you can look up later more about the college. But just to kind of focus that we're a bit of a small to mid-sized college located in southeastern Ontario. We have 3 physical campuses in Kingston, Brockville, Cornwall, and like most colleges in the Ontario sector, we have strategic enrollment management plan that's looking at focus on enhancing international student growth. Next. Physically where we're located, you can see where we are situated right in Eastern Ontario with our campus communities, and how we are respective to the major metropolises of Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal, and then we are located with our area First Nations as well. Next. A little bit about international students in the Canadian context. So
and you're all aware of this most likely, is that once again, the growth in international students coming to Canada, so 800,000 students at all levels resigned in 2022. For the college itself, we're around 40% of international, and our top countries is India, Mexico, Philippines, Colombia, Nigeria. And one thing that we've seen is a increased diversification of the countries that are coming to study at St. Lawrence. Next. In listening to some of the other presentations and reading some of the content and comments, when we're thinking about the international student experience at St. Lawrence in our campus communities, and we know that there's definitely challenges, some systemic challenges and some program challenges that exist. But that's for our approach to really frame that around opportunities. So we're recognizing that there are these challenges, and then what can we do to support the experience? Next. Which led us to the actual development of a new program, which was initiated 2 years ago. And the person that led this program, the development of it, some of you may know, Richard Webster. He's a tremendous colleague, and he's the one that actually would be presenting here at this moment, but he's actually landed a full-time faculty role with the college. So he's shifted from an administrative role to a faculty role. And so that's why I'm here in front of you instead, helping support this program. And so he really led the charge to develop this global engagement community development program. And really it's to think of the student's journey, both, coming through to the college, but also how are we doing community readiness? How are we having partners with local employer groups or with LIPS or with economic development councils, with municipalities, to really once again make it more of a community approach to welcome these students, to make this a better experience for them. And so you can see just a series of presentations that we did engage in. A lot of it's around educating employers around hiring international students, both as they are currently a student, but also the benefits to having students once they graduate and they can start working and have a fuller focus on their postgraduate employment opportunities. Next. Oh, can you go back one? So a lot of this does kick off with student transitions and community welcome. And so for the college itself, we know how important this is for student development and engagement. So we have in-person, in-country departure sessions. So we actually have staff that will, for example, will be in India, they'll do pre-departure sessions. So they can hear directly from our staff about the Canadian experience. We then also have a very detailed and curated transition pathway for our orientation, our online orientation workshops and in-person sessions. And then the real neat aspect that we've really been growing from last year as a pilot in Brockville, but now on each campus, are these community tours and service fairs. So for example, the picture on the left is an example of people coming together in Brockville, and we actually rent a bus with the city and we actually tour around different service areas in the city. And that's made possible by that partnership with our partners in Brockville. In Kingston this year, for example, we actually had community associations come in during our International Welcome Day. And so they were actually having tables and a bit of a service fair. And this is a mix of both service groups, but also different ethnocultural groups that our students would have an affinity with. Next. And of course, the way we help enable success is by having dedicated resources. One thing I think is a bit novel for St. Lawrence in our approach is we have an evolving one college, one student service philosophy. So in some colleges, you tend to have student services, like international student services, just be its own unit. At our college, each director is responsible for services for all students. So for example, our director of health and well-being and accessibility is also responsible for international students' health and well-being. They should always have access to these services. We just don't isolate it into one service group. The responsibility is spread amongst each director. We also then, of course, know that there's targeted needed supports for our students, though, because their experience is distinct. And so that's why we do have dedicated international student advisor supports who are RECIA certified and are connected into to these students and their journeys. And then we also have housing supports. This is a critical need for our students. So off-campus housing coordinator, providing the matching education resources, Our college itself has also modified our own residence stock to try to make it more appealing. And then we're also undergoing a strategic review for housing. Next. And once they've had a successful journey as a student, they hopefully they will graduate and become alumni. And so the emphasis here is really on that alumni experience, both looking at their alumni experience in Eastern Ontario, but also the alumni experience as a part of a global network. And so the college is starting to expand those relationships and those connections. So hopefully that they still have those bonds once they graduate. And of course, a big part of that connection point is careers. And so at that point, I'll hand it over to Colleen. And you're muted a bit still. Yep.
Still muted, Colleen. Let's see if we can help you out there. 1 second. There you go, Colleen, you're all set.
Oh, perfect. It said the host was not allowing me to unmute. Sorry. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for the lead into that, Andrea and Jody, for managing us through this process, and everyone for attending our workshop today. I first have to start by saying I have the best job in the world. I can't deny it. And I think as a career advisor, I think it's an incredible responsibility to guide students, but also an incredible privilege to be able to speak life, to be able to speak hope and optimism into every student that walks through my door. So that's the blue in me talking, and why I really love what I do. At SLC, our career services team, we really focus on developing career readiness, preparing our students for career readiness at the time that they leave school. But that does start at day one of their college experience. And we help them build and communicate the skills, the knowledge, everything they need to attach to the labor market and grow into their careers throughout their life. And I like to think this goes beyond a credential or an academic qualification. It's more focused on the range of skills and abilities that are valued by employers. We have a focus at SLC on developing 10 highly necessary career competencies, things like digital technology, oral and written communications, professionalism, all those things that our students need to attach to the labor market. Okay, if you want to do the next slide. Every job and sector requires a mix of these skills, and our 10 competencies are grouped into 4 components. I won't go into too much detail, we don't have tons of time, but things like technical skills, what are the hard skills required to do a job? Employability skills, the networking, the communication, what we always think of as the soft skills, career management skills, being able to self-advocate when you are in the workplace, identifying career progression throughout your life, and cultural competence, the ability to work alongside teams and to just to work together and be successful in the workplace. What I really like about this model is that it, especially for international students, it removes the geographic boundaries of the credential, any prior learning, prior work experience. It helps us teach them, what they can do, maybe what they're missing, and then how they can get those skills through work, through school, and different areas. So it's just a very open, easy to follow process, and it takes away that thinking when they often come here that nothing I do is recognized here. So we just break it down and just give them that possibility. Okay, next slide. Okay, again, we apply our career development model for all of our students, especially helpful for international students, really helping them identify goals and provide job search support. I have to say that's probably the #1 need of our students when they arrive here for their first semester. So we all work diligently to help them find work and help them to really understand their transferable skills. So many students come here, they say, oh, I have no skills, there's nothing I've done. Well, once we start working with them, we show them that, 1-year job you had in your home country, you have skills. So we all know the value of transferable skills. And once we open their eyes to that, it really helps them see their possibility. And then the big thing, like everybody, is engaging with employers and our communities, especially in our smaller rural areas. Next slide. Okay, so we follow a 4-stage approach to working with our students. And this really we do from day one all the way to when they leave. And it's a continual process, helping them discover what their interests are. What are your natural abilities? What are you gifted at? What do you like to do? Setting some goals. Stage 2 is teaching them how to use and interpret labor market information, job profiles, helping them learn to network, to have the small talk when they're at events, and continue developing their skills. Stage 3 is helping them understand job descriptions, prepare for applications, looking at a job description, breaking it down to choose their strong skill sets, and then being able to communicate those on a resume. Interview prep is, I always think of it as helping them tell the story of their skills and create the capacity for them to have engaging conversations during interviews. And ongoing support, helping them identify professional development opportunities. We help them negotiate job offers, connecting them to our alumni as well. That all contributes to their career success. Okay, if you want to do the next slide. Support for our students is available up to 6 months after graduation. So we have this really great window where we continue to work with our students to help them be successful. In Career Services, we are in the process of hiring a new student career advisor who's going to be dedicated to working with international students. We have a really great tri-campus global conversation club. They meet weekly. It's an opportunity to build language communication skills and intercultural competence, understanding of other cultures. And each spring we have a new Ready to Launch event, which my colleague Richard Webster launched. It helps students prepare, our international students prepare for when they're actually going to leave. We have all sorts of webinars and workshops on career development, how to navigate the PGWP process. And it's just a really great event. We had our first one this past spring and preparation is underway for this spring. Next slide. I think moving forward in terms of supporting our international students, we are working really hard to have a better alignment of their work and college experiences related to their long-term goals and their PR pathways. So helping them find the part-time work that they do secure when they come is something maybe related to their field, their placements, any volunteering, experiential learning, leadership opportunities, kind of packaging it and gearing it to what they want to do when they finish and settle in Canada. I have the best example. You know, sometimes when you have to speak and the universe just brings the perfect opportunity and story your way. I had a 20-year-old student in my office last week, and he loves cars. He just loves cars in his home country. And when he came to Canada, he wanted to work at a car dealership. He went 4 times to this dealership with his resume, walked in, sorry, we're not hiring. He said, I'll come back next month, second month. So he did that 3 times, always told they're not hiring. The 4th month, he went in to see if he could do a placement with them for his program. So they took him on for 3 weeks. He did his placement and they hired him. So he was able to work there. They taught him car detailing, maintenance, service, just basic things. And now his goal, as he graduates next spring, he's working with the employer to hopefully secure, have them sponsor him to do an automotive trade. And his lifetime goal is to have an automotive shop in Canada. So I thought that really illustrates this whole idea of weaving everything together. He was perfect timing, actually, and just a wonderful guy. He actually showed me a video of him starting his dream car in the dealership. So that was really cool. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Next slide. And the other thing is to continue building employer connections, really teaching them cultural awareness and working with international students, how to employ them, how to understand them. And that works the other way too, having our employers teach our students and our new employees Canadian workplace culture, all those innuendos that they just don't understand. So it's kind of a back and forth process. And also helping employers understand the study permit work allowances. I find there's a lot of misunderstanding. Just in September, I had an employer reach out. They were looking for a certain amount of students to do a factory shutdown maintenance thing. And when I had explained they could only work 20 hours a week, she said, oh, I thought the government took that away and they can all work full time. So I think there's some misunderstanding about that. And I think it's really important that our employers and our communities view international students as a long-term, see their long-term importance to the workforce. It's not just a source of part-time, temporary fill-in jobs while they're in school. Let's look beyond that and see how far they can go. And I have really another example all blocked out. I have a wonderful international student, 4-page CV. She has a degree, she's a Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Science. She has a master's in public health, just a phenomenal candidate. And so for her, you know, I find immediately employers will say, oh, we don't recognize that credential here. Well, let's teach employers, don't look at the credential, look at the skills. Let's break that down. What can you do? Lab science is lab science, blood is blood, like things like that. So let's look at the parallels. And I think if we can help employers understand that versus the shutdown of, well, we don't recognize the credential, it will go a long way to helping our students become permanent residents. And the next slide is just, so the PGWP, as we all know, it helps students secure work experience to lead them to their PR. And again, I think it's really important when students are leaving our colleges to help them secure work that is going to build their career when they get their PR, so that they're not just finding something in the meantime just to get my PR, because then they have to start all over. Then they have to start career building back. So it's our goal, my hope, my prayer that we can get all of our students working towards their goal of PR through all the programs we offer here. Okay, the next slide. Okay, so this is actually a little video clip. So has everyone seen the Piece by Chocolate movie? If you haven't, you have to watch it. This is just the trailer. It's a couple minutes.
You must be Tarek. Oh! Is it that cold? That's Canada, hun.
Welcome to Antigonish, your new home.
How's she going by, eh? Where's the town?
This is the town, bud.
I want you to move our sponsorship to Toronto.
It's this or Camp in Lebanon.
And we'll do whatever we can to help, but in 12 months' time, you're going to be on your own.
عم تقول إنه الشتي هون طويل، بس الجو رح يحلى كتير لما تدفي الدنيا.
إن شاء الله.
Yes, that's a chocolate wheel. Sorry, sir. No.
إلا إنه أنا بقدر ساعدها بتحسين الشوكولاتة.
I'm sorry. He was the best chocolatier in Syria.
Those chocolates are amazing.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Tell Papa I have an idea. You guys should know what you have here.
They make the best chocolate. Mark my words.
Your story is the new Canadian dream.
This will not just bring chocolate to the people of Antigonish. It will also inspire more refugees. We can empower other people's dreams and our own. For me, that dream is to be a doctor.
تعرف قديش بدك وقت لحتى تتخرج وتصير دكتور بهالبلد؟ كل. Dino, eat!
There's two of us now. You said you study medicine?
Yes.
You know what I tell people about Canada? Paramedics drive the ambulances, doctors drive cabs.
My family has endured many hardships.
You're from Syria, sir. No, you will place your hands on the wheel.
But we are one of the lucky ones.
We all pitched in and got a community loan. It's like a belated Christmas gift. Whoa! Look at this place. He was doing this from his kitchen before. It's unbelievable. This is like a dream.
Now that you're a local celebrity, how does all the attention feel?
We are honored. It left us speechless.
We're not friends.
Brothers.
Just months after arriving in Canada, the family realized their dream. It's called Peace by Chocolate. Arrived in Antigonish.
الشوكولاتة تبعنا.
Are there any Canadian citizens that can vouch for you?
Justin Trudeau.
All right, Justin Trudeau.
Thanks, Jody. So if you haven't seen that movie, I encourage you all to watch it. But with the little trailer we just watched, there were 3 quotes that stood out to me. First is when Tarek was speaking to his immigration consultant after arriving in Nova Scotia. First thing, I want you to move our sponsorship to Toronto. Second was when they were speaking with their sponsoring family and supports. We'll do whatever we can to help, but in 12 months' time, you're going to be on your own. And the third one was Tarek speaking to the medical doctor. He said, you know what I tell people about Canada? Paramedics drive ambulances, doctors drive cabs. Next slide. So let's change this. That's what I say, all the work we all do. Let's change these statements to having our newcomers say, we love it here. Life is good for us. We want others to know Southeast Ontario is the best place to live in Canada. Next one. Our National Study and Succeed program is available to you for as long as your family and you need support. And the last one is, becoming a doctor may not be possible, but the local medical center here has hired me as a consultant to help newcomers navigate healthcare in Canada. I'm even speaking at a conference next week about healthcare in developing countries. So that's what we're all here for today. And I think we all work together. And I just wanted, Wally Shaw said something really wonderful this morning in his keynote. And he said, people need to have the right people in their corner. And I just think that all of us together, working together, I like to think that we are the right people, and let's all be the right people in everybody's corner. And that's how we change the world. So that's all we have to say. Do you have any questions?
Wow, folks, that was absolutely amazing. Really, really grateful for you sharing not only information about your programs, but also the passion. We can feel a passion that you have for the work that you do. And so it's because of folks like you that our students are succeeding. Unfortunately, we are at time, so we are not going to have the opportunity for questions and answer. And I apologize for that. I take accountability for that because we were late getting started the session today. But we will allow for time for you to transition to your next workshop. So again, before we close today's session, I want to thank Andrea, Colleen, and Ross. Thank you so much for your time and your outstanding workshop. I'd also like to thank you, our attendees, for joining us here today. And again, we hope that you'll join us for our next workshop starting at 11:30. So again, get up, get that blood flowing. Don't get on your emails. That's a slippery slope. So thank you again. Merci, miigwech.
Thank you.
Thank
Merci.
you.